basically a portal that explains telematics to the people that coming into the market, young people especially, but gradually older people as well, and just to sort of to translate what it is, how they can use it, and how it can save them money on their car insurance. Basically, that's the biggest part of it. Would be
the biggest part would be car insurance, but
Yeah.
it is an enormous field, isn't it?
Yes.
And there are other aspects to it. Do you want to just explain a bit about the other aspects of
Sure. I mean,
telematics?
there's three main aspects that we're going to focus on. One is the car insurance, as I've said, which is aimed at saving people money through better driving and tracking of that driving. The second one is the fleet tracking, which is for companies that have like large commercial fleets, fleets of vans that they want to make more efficient. Basically, when that telematics can be used to be embedded into the cars and into the vans, and then to show people what their drivers are doing, how efficient they're driving, where they are, how fuel efficient they are, and so on, so to save the money in that aspect. And the third one, which is possibly the most interesting of all, is the infotainment and in-car infotainment, which is what's going to happen in 5-10 years time with telematics being introduced into cars.
So you've explained that there are various diverse fields to this. Is there any one particular trend which is revealing itself at the moment?
In the whole field, the definite trend is that people are starting to come around to to the insurance side of things. I mean, that's the biggest thing that's happening at the moment. There have been recent surveys done online, and which say that now over 50% of people know about telematics insurance, what it means, and people are coming around to the idea of using it. Especially with the new gender directive that's stopped women from being discounted directly. Now that sort of helps it along its way for people to think, well, I'm a good driver, how can I sort of pay less, basically. So the biggest trend that I can see is that people are starting to adopt these products. The technology is getting better to use them. We can get apps now that can use them, so it's very simple to set up telematics insurance, and I think that overall that is the biggest thing that's happening. But in the background, you have all of these things that are happening within the infotainment side of things, and manufacturers meeting to decide how much connectivity and how many features they're going to put into new manufactured cars and things. So that's happening sort of more behind the scenes, but in the mainstream, telematics insurance is definitely becoming more adopted by the general public.
Why isn't there a site like Telematics.com already?
I think it's too new is the answer to that. I think there are obviously millions of car insurance comparison websites, and I think this is just the absolute start of the trend. And I think I've noticed from even monitoring it for the last 3 months that you've got Tesco coming into the market, you've got Direct Line coming into the market. It's becoming much more widespread, and I think that, to be quite honest with you, it's purely because it's just so new. And I think there's over the last 2 or 3 months, I think it started to become much more mainstream very, very quickly, and I think you will see a lot more sites like Telematics.com coming out there. There are, at the moment, there aren't many sites that are specifically designed around telematics insurance. But that is going to change, definitely. So our goal is just to be one of the first ones there to explain the market and hopefully lead the field in that respect.
You've had quite a bit of background in insurance, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been in insurance for about 12 years now, but mainly in the marketing side of it.
So this must be quite a big development, insurance, from your point of view.
I think it's definitely the biggest development I've seen throughout my time in insurance. It's certainly the thing that has the potential to transform how car insurance is actually sold, and so I would say it's definitely the biggest potential thing that's to happen in insurance. And to what extent it transpires, I'm not sure yet, but potentially it's the biggest thing that I would have seen for sure.
So it's early days.
It is, yeah. I mean, there are some potential pitfalls that insurers, obviously having to negotiate with, and there's some cynicism by the public, and and there's questions that need to be answered for the public as well, really, and that's part of the goal of the site, is to sort of tell the public, what is this insurance and how can it benefit me, and is my privacy going to be abused, and so on. So I would say that's the main goal.
So these are issues which you're going to be looking at.
Yeah.
It seems to me from what you're saying that it's possible that there'll be a device of this kind in almost every moving vehicle. Do you think that's a fair comment?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, there have been studies that have tried to anticipate how the usage of of these things, and it goes from anything from sort of 50% of cars will have them, to they will become compulsory. The general view from people that I've spoken to within the industry is that these type of boxes or tracking devices will become compulsory down the line, because it makes perfect sense for them to be. And but if not, they're certainly going to be built into cars, as standard, I would have thought, down the line as well. So I would personally think that it's something that's going to be in every car, within sort of 5 years' time. That's the prediction that we would tend to go with.
And this is a trend that your site will stay on top of?
Yeah, absolutely. At the moment, I think it's in England. I think it's about 1% of cars have adopted it, but the growth stats for that and the predictions are that's going to massively rise over the next few years.